Hello and welcome to Under the Plumb Bob. We are a podcast where we talk all about the series of EA Maxis games called The Sims. We like to ignore the real world by making up our own ones, which as of late has been just a particularly satisfying coping mechanism. I don't know about you, Jess. How's your real world looking?
Little hectic, but yeah, definitely getting plenty of Sims time and chilling like that.
Not to put you on the spot, but what are you playing right now? Anything fun?
I've started my granny cult.
Yes!
So exciting.
I cannot wait. Like, I'm torn because I want to hear all about it now, but I want to hear all about it when it's like fully realized too.
Mm-hmm.
That's so exciting.
I'm just starting out. I've got my first recruit into the cult.
This is great. This is so great. We will have a full-fledged episode on the Granny Cult.
Yes.
Does that mean you've got Nifty Knitting?
I do have Nifty Knitting.
All right. So we get to talk all about the news and updates that we here at Under the Plumb Bob podcast have for you. We've taken a couple months off of Social Bunny episodes just because it's been kind of a weird year, a bit of a hectic summer, as aforementioned. So most of the big news surrounds this new pack we recently got that was created and voted on based on a lot of feedback from us, the community. And as we now know, it is called Nifty Knitting.
And already I absolutely love it. I've been having so much fun with it.
Oh my god, I have so many questions. I can't wait. So, just to refresh your memory, listeners, go back and listen to our recent Social Bunnies as of a couple months ago, before the world imploded on itself. We talked a little bit about this community vote determined pack. There were all kinds of different options that you could vote on, topic, and then once the topic was determined, we were able to vote on different aspects of the pack, certain CAS items that there was concept art for that the designer said, hey, if you want this, vote for it and we'll make it real. So we're now a couple months out from that happening. This is a very homebound indoor hobby pack that just happened to come together after this pandemic broke out.
I know.
And this is, I think I'm reading a tweet from Sim Guru Connor, the lead designer. Can we talk about how crazy it is that we voted on this incredibly homebound indoor hobby pack and then a pandemic broke out and lots of people are stuck at home with nothing to do? It's like, did you know Sim Guru Connor? Sus.
Yeah, it just feels like the universe is connected some way like that.
It's kind of nuts. Like we talked about eco living. Now I already forget what eco lifestyle. I'm just gonna get it wrong every time. I think that's a good way to go about it. We talked about eco lifestyle before we went on hiatus. So I think that was the last release before Nifty Knitting, and Nifty Knitting was in the works for a while. And there's a couple exciting features to this pack that some were a long time coming, I think, and some were kind of out of nowhere, in my opinion.
Yeah, in Create a Sim, you can knit your own clothing, which unlocks special items and CAS for your household, once you do it, which I think is really cool. I've already, unlocked a lot of the hats.
That's so great.
Yeah.
That's new.
It's when you're looking at it in CAS, it's got a little padlock symbol. In some cases, it might be on individual swatches.
Okay, interesting. So this is kind of the first, I would say, blatant, there's a word for it, and I don't remember what it is, but unlocking content as you go, within gameplay. The Sims doesn't really explicitly do that. It's more kind of built into your gameplay, leveling up skills and applying them to careers. So this is really interesting to me.
Yeah, it's definitely a first for me in The Sims. I've never had something like this before, and it's really interesting.
Does it scratch that itch of I'm a completionist, I gotta unlock all the knitting,
yes,
I must knit forever?
Definitely. So I have 3 pairs of socks, and I'm I need to get them all now.
Must knit all the socks. Oh yeah, no, I can see this being a very real problem. I don't have it yet, so I'm waiting for the next sale to bundle a bunch, so that's very exciting. In other news, there's rocking chairs now, as included with the Nifty Knitting stuff pack. Thank God, finally.
Mm-hmm.
My rocking chairs. I wanted this. Most of the actions you can do while sitting will be available while you're rocking. So, having a conversation, chatting, and elders. Finally, the elders are getting some love. They get a special interaction in this pack called Reminisce, which should have some moodlet effects. And I kind of remember a Reminisce like interaction in Sims 3. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, it does.
Remember old times or something?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it came in like in the generation pack, like, oh, like think fondly of the old times or something like that.
Yeah. Which, like, that's a true sign of the developers listening because there's some definite love for generations in Sims 3 that I don't think we've seen too much in 4, but hey, this is the opening of Granny Cult. I'm ready for it.
Yes. And on one note with the rocking chairs, they will do everything in the rocking chairs. I even had them eating dinner in the rocking chairs.
Now, do they rock while they're eating dinner?
Yes.
Oh dear.
You just go back and forth.
I'm just imagining like soup, which I
Yeah.
feel like is not super
That is-
conducive to
No. That would not be the best one.
Sometimes you live life on the edge. You got to be constantly moving. Nothing like those elders wanting to just always be on the move in their rocking back and forth. So let's take a big collective sigh about the aspect of the game that I remember seeing in my read through of like the initial reviews and going, I'm sorry, what?
The Plopsy edition.
Plopsy. What the hell is Plopsy?
Basically, it's Etsy for The Sims. The Sim posts the item, waits for an offer, and if they accept it, they can send it out via the mailbox.
Which I love, and I think that's the kind of like internal marketplace that we've been asking for also in The Sims. That mechanism hasn't really existed. I think, we've had the flea market table, and I want to say back in Sims 2 there was I don't remember the name of the pack, but you could open up a storefront basically, and your home could double as a storefront, which I always definitely used as like a cool and I live upstairs in my loft of my art studio. Anyway, and I sell my art.
And in Sims 3, they had the consignment store that you could sell your stuff to.
Yes. So all kinds of like commerce options up until 4 where you just kind of drag your items into a box in your inventory and it sells, which is great, but for like detailed gameplay, it doesn't really scratch that itch. So while I'm thrilled that this now exists, I would like to have a very serious and lengthy conversation with whichever team came up with the name Plopsy.
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 It just it does not sound appealing whatsoever.
It does not. We've had a couple discussions in the group chat for the podcast about what Plopsy sounds like. Either something very, like a weird sex thing or like a diarrhea medication. I don't know, but I'm not into it.
No.
So like, what, other than the knitting that you're creating, what else can go on Plopsy?
Other items can be sold like paintings, wood sculptures, and you can actually get some more simoleons doing it, like selling it through Plopsy than through your inventory.
Nice incentive.
And if Sims don't have time to knit or you don't want your Sims knitting, you can buy the knitted items off of Plopsy.
Cool. I'll give them the logo. The logo's pretty cute. And
I love the logo.
Are we kind of like officially stealing this as our unofficial Social Bunny
I kind of want to. Yes.
team logo? Because I do love it.
It is really cute little bunny.
Even if they called it Flopsy. Like, and I get, like, you're plopping something, like, online or you're, like, a delivery. I get it. I still hate it.
Yeah. Not the best name they could have gone with.
Just like maybe 1 or 2 more focus groups. That's all I'm asking for. It does kind of harken back to The Sims having that really tongue-in-cheek sense of humor. It honestly reminds me more of like Sims 1 jokes where you've got like your tragic clown and you're like those phone calls that would say like the end is near. Like, what? And so now we have Plopsy. So look, points for creativity, points for, I don't know, a good callback, but yikes.
Yeah.
My official ruling is yikes.
Yikes.
So EA released a quick little article about how the community pack came together. We voted, there was a selection of objects and in-game items that their art director then, went through and kind of applied to the actual game. It's a series of graphics and captions that I found really interesting to read through. So check that out. We'll put the link in the notes.
So part of the new pack is we got some new stereo stations for the radios, and one of them is metal.
Yeah.
What's more metal than knitting? And I have to bring up the Heavy Metal Knitting Championships, which is a real thing.
Hell yeah. That's hardcore.
Honestly, I'm half tempted to try and find a metal band to knit with so I can go next year, because that would be awesome.
Absolutely. So are you in real life into both knitting and metal?
Metal, honestly, not so much, but joining that with knitting is pretty awesome to me.
Yeah, the juxtaposition itself as a concept is entertaining enough to me that I would really like to see that in person, New interactions we get with the stereo include listen to metal, air guitar to metal, and brutally dance. I'm obsessed.
I've already had my Sims listen to it, and when you go to turn it off, it's like in all caps, like, turn off?
How dare you? Please tell me the granny cult only listens to metal while knitting.
Of course.
So great. Oh, I love it. The post where we found this out is actually an interview with Sim Guru Connor and an audio designer for The Sims named Drew Bowles. There's a little Q&A about Drew and his job in The Sims, kind of talks about some of the sounds that are in the game, which truly I'm interested in, but in practice I don't really play with the sound on, which makes me feel sad that there's a whole person's job, or probably a whole team's job, of content that I'm not really paying attention to. So maybe I need to take some time and play with the sound on again, because I mean, what's more metal than knitting? That's honestly the question.
Exactly.
We also found an article that kind of breaks down the motion that had to be put into the game with the addition of the rocking chair. I find this interesting because this was the argument that came back often when we asked for bunk beds and ladders before there were ladders. It's a whole new, element of the game, a new element of animation. So that this was added to merely a stuff pack is pretty exciting when you really get down into it. I also like that this kind of content is being put out by the team, because I think it really expresses hey, we're not just sending you shitty stuff packs to use and buy with nothing in them. We work hard on this, and here's how. It shows the difference between the adult rocking animation and the toddler rocking animation, which is very adorable and sweet. So check that out.
Cute.
Link in the show notes. And now I guess we have to talk about how Simguru Ninja is daddy. But I didn't, that's something that's been forced upon me. I didn't bring this up. This is just how it is. Are you watching Sparked at all?
I've not had a chance to yet.
So this is a little teaser for our upcoming Sparked episode. We kind of missed the live react timeline in terms of bringing you content every week on Sparked. But since there are only 5 episodes, we're going to just do a big wrap-up episode to talk about Sparked in the very near future. So if you've been watching and you know about how Simguru Ninja in real life is very handsome, don't worry about it. We're going to talk about it. I'll say it 8 more times, I'm sure, on that episode. But I bring him up because Simguru Ninja's temporary avatar on Twitter was the Sim from the Nifty Knitting trailer, the gray-haired salt and pepper dad, who was knitting all of those items for his adorable family. He made that his avatar, and I found it very appropriate. So
it's a very nice avatar.
Yes. And with all of this conversation about Nifty Knitting, you're probably wondering, What about all that content that got pushed to the side, that didn't get voted on, that was, offered up as options but never became realized in the game? Are we sad about that? Do we miss that? Do we want that?
I do. Some of my votes didn't make it through, so yes.
For sure. So, I believe in the last episode of Social Bunny, you guys talked about a community-driven initiative or movement spearheaded by a Tumblr called Pepperoni-Puffin. Basically, a bunch of custom content creators just took the concept art that was like the rejected concept art pieces, and they just made it. They just made it, and they offered it for free, and it's all the Nifty Knitting stuff that didn't make the cut. And they called it Project Missed Opportunity, which, big shade that I fully appreciate.
Yes.
But I'm really glad, because I don't think you tell me, in Nifty Knitting, did any of the pet stuff make the cut?
I don't think so.
Because, like, those are my top votes for this content. Like, give me that dog sweater that looks like a dinosaur.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my big votes. I'm not sure that one went through.
And, like, I'm a pretty run-of-the-mill cat person, but I have dog nieces and nephews. As my cat audibly meows. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Are you done? Thank you. God, can't get a word in edgewise around here. Anyway, one of my dog nieces, and by dog niece, I say this as if that's a thing that normal people say. My friend's dog is really what most people, I guess, call them. I guess. My friend's dog is like on the hyper side. She's still close to puppy age, but she definitely, gets her excitement in and around. When I come over to visit, she does 3 laps around the house and then like leaps into me. So one year they got for her a little dinosaur Halloween costume. And when they put it on her, she just calms down.
Oh, wow.
She gets very zen and like into this plate. And it looks like this one from The Sims. It's got like the spikes and it's green. And it's so funny because she just like, it's not like a scared. It's like a very like, she just lays down and she kind of looks at you like with half closed eyes. Like, I'm a dinosaur now. This is who I'm meant to be.
I am my true self.
We call it her like calm down suit. We came up with a silly name for it, but it's like her weighted blanket almost. But it's a dinosaur costume, a dog dinosaur costume. So
love it.
Love your pets. Go snuggle on your pets, everybody, because they're the best. Couple odds and ends here.
So you can now download official Sims 4 backgrounds for Zoom if you're doing Zoom calls for anything.
So fun.
And if you can figure out how to use them, let us know. I have never used Zoom.
Yeah, I don't use Zoom. We use Microsoft Teams at my company, so it's all like internal. But everyone's using Zoom for like virtual happy hour and like connecting with friends and family. So you can have these cool Sims 4 backgrounds, which I am very much interested in. I mean, honestly, I might just download these for my computer backgrounds. They're kind of dope.
Yeah, I like them.
We got kind of an update on a long-running rumor that, honestly, I don't know will ever go away until it's actually made. Legendary Pictures is reportedly working on The Sims and SimCity live-action movies. Who knows if that'll come together? Legendary Pictures. I'm trying to think of what else they've done. For whatever reason, I'm thinking they were behind the Lego movie, which, I mean, take that as you will.
I know I've seen movies they've done, but I couldn't tell you which ones.
This just in from the very eavesdropping IT boyfriend. Legendary Pictures was behind Dark Knight Rises, The Hangover, Interstellar is another one. Oh, your favorite, Warcraft. Everyone, let it be known, IT boyfriend loves the film Warcraft. We saw it in theaters. That's a fact. Detective Pikachu. So, like, I would say some veritable winners. So, hey, if they're involved in that in any way, it gets my cautiously optimistic, mostly upward-facing thumbs up.
There's some hits in there.
Yeah.
So listeners, Jess here. I just wanted to pop in to say that before we dive into our next topic, we're already a little out of date. We want you to know that we recorded this episode a day prior to Sim Guru Lindsay's video tweet addressing the following issues about inclusivity in The Sims 4. With that said, I'll let you get back to the episode. Enjoy!
So speaking of Sparked, competitor Plumbella and another one of our friends of the podcast, or imagined friends of the podcast, Little Simsy, they have both recently been using their platform to talk about the need for more inclusive skin tones in the Sims franchise. This is something that we haven't really had the chance to address. Our team was on hiatus around the time that a lot of the social unrest and big increase in awareness of inequality went down in the United States. And when I say increase in awareness, I mean the, mainstream awareness kind of took a skyrocket. I know that many people have been saying for many, many years that equality is an issue in the world today. It became a little bit of a pop culture moment around June. So, Lil Simsy and Plumbella have been speaking out about the lack of actual working inclusive skin tones in the Sims franchise.
Yeah.
So we've talked about this for probably a while before this all became, the conversation of the time. One of our older episodes talks about diversity in The Sims, and we have been in love with Ex Mira Mira, who I know we've pronounced her name incorrectly in the past, but since she's been on Sparked and has actually said her username out loud, now we know that it's Ex Mira Mira. Thank you, baby. She's awesome. She is a known content creator in the community, and she has said that when she didn't see skin tones that made sense to her in The Sims, she just made her own, which is a really badass thing to do.
Yeah.
So if you are someone who is looking for more inclusive skin tones, let me very emphatically and enthusiastically point you to the community, because there are options out there. But it is worth noting, as Plumbella and Little Simsy are doing, that these should really be in-game options.
Yeah.
This should be just, base level included. This is a no-brainer. So I've also kind of recently, I stumbled upon today a graphic somebody made of kind of the whitewashing of some of the original townies. Bella, the Calientes, Dawn, they all look a couple shades lighter in Sims 4 than they do in Sims 2. I suppose you could argue that in 4 there's a lot of bloom happening with the graphics in general. A lot of things are lighter and brighter, but that doesn't mean washing out a saturated color. It doesn't have to be that way, is what I'm saying. So I don't know. As a white woman, this may not be my avenue to speak about, but I will definitely say with conviction that this is a no-brainer. This should be in the game. This should be in the game for anyone who wants it or needs it. The folks who want more options shouldn't have to go out into the internet and download content. I'm so glad that it's all there, but this should be included in the game.
Yeah. Base pack should have been in there, yeah.
And who knows, giving the team the benefit of the doubt, we've gotten lots and lots of base game updates in Sims 4, more so than any other games. Maybe there's a makeover on the horizon. I certainly think so, because at the moment they're sort of resting on the fact that that's all available out there. But you never know. As I said, Ex Mira Mira is on Sparked. Maybe a connection has been made with her and the Sims team. Hopefully, if they use her content, she's credited and paid for the development work that she had to do on her own.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. At my job, I'm working with several teams to make sure that diversity, equality, and inclusion isn't just this pop culture moment in time, and that change is actually taken seriously in the future. So I'm seeing that more and more in my everyday work. It's really heartening and inspiring that this is something we're seeing more of. And so I personally really hope we see that in the games that we play as well. So,
here's what you can expect from our lovely podcast in the upcoming episodes. We are covering food in real life and in The Sims, and careers in The Sims. Team Llama will look at IRL cooking skills and assign each other recipes from The Sims to cook. That'll be out on the 19th. On the 26th, Team Cowplant will be talking jobs in The Sims. #work.
Work.
And if you missed Sparked, you can totally catch up. All the episodes are on BuzzFeed's YouTube.
That's right. BuzzFeed Multiplayer. You can check out all of our favorite simmers competing for sim domination. Simlessy's on there, English Simmer, Ex Mira Mira. The top names that we talk about are on this show. It's kind of crazy. And like I said, we weren't reacting in real time, but we're going to do a little tea spilling episode about the whole thing. So just get ready. Just be ready for that. I realized I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your gameplay in knitting.
Okay.
So, Grandma Cult. What is Grandma's name?
My first grandma, the founder of my cult, her name is Brenda.
Yes.
She's so cute. I gave her the cutest little haircut. And of course, she's wearing a floral dress with a little cardigan.
Oh my gosh.
I love her so much.
And I think when we conceptualized this granny cult idea, it was going to be are we adopting grandchildren? Are we adopting other elders to is it a cult of grandmothers? How's this working out for you?
So far I am trying to get as many elders as I can, and then I think I will start adopting small children for them to raise.
Yes.
To bring up the second generation of granny cult.
I love it. Oh, I love it so much. So she's power knitting through all of the sock options. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And she's about to move on to cozies.
Nice. Oh my gosh. Ugh. This is the one I would say I'm most excited about. Eco lifestyle, definitely psyched about some of the options. I feel like lately, maybe this is just me, but expansion packs almost feel like too much. They're just overwhelming. And I don't know. I live in that minutia. I live in that let's make up a quirky, fun, in-game game challenge, as they are often called. But I don't know. I love the knitting. I love that was something that the developers said, yeah, let's give this a shot.
Yeah. Everything that I've seen that I've been experimenting with, I've just absolutely loved.
I'm excited for Plopsy for sure, despite a very, very unfortunate name. But I remember hearing that not only can it be knitting, as we said, it can be woodworking or art. I know in eco lifestyle there are candles you can make, so you can probably I can realize my real life dream of just making candles all the time and selling them on Etsy and using beautiful hand lettering that I'm not good at to mark up the labels. Oh, have you ever, like I have, watched those videos of wax seals, homemade wax seals?
Yes.
That's so satisfying.
Oh, I love them.
That's on my list of someday, on the someday wedding that I maybe will never have, the someday wedding, that's going to be my crafty piece. I'm going to probably pay for as much else that I I'm not crafty. I all of my friends did the whole and we're going to be making our own centerpieces out of twine and twigs I found outside and flowers and spray paint. And they would look at me and be like, can you come over and help? And I would just fold into myself. So I'm not put me in an assembly line doing something very simple or don't call me. But I feel like I can handle wax seals on the invitations or the thank you notes. So that's on my list of yeah, maybe someday I'll do a crafty thing.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I would love to do for my wedding. It's just, here's a wax seal. Here's a wax seal.
Press, look at me. I'm very fancy. Come to my wedding. That's, yeah. Have you been doing any real life knitting or any alternative hobbies now that we're all stuck at home?
I have picked up the knitting and the crocheting again.
Nice.
I've made a little lap blanket and I'm working on a bigger blanket now.
Color themes, Hogwarts house colors, what's the motivation?
The one blanket, the yarn itself just came in pink and blue, so I just kind of worked with it that way.
Nice.
The other one, I'm kind of working through my favorite colors.
Nice. I have purchased knitting needles, and I have purchased yarn, and I have watched one YouTube tutorial. So check me out on Plopsy any minute now. I'm going to be knitting up the storm. I want to just be at the point where I'm good enough where I can just kind of do it and like do it muscle memory absentmindedly and like watch something, which I'm so not there. I'm like the opposite of there. So I don't know. Are you that good?
No. I've been doing it for a number of years and I still have to like look at what I'm doing or I'm going to mess it up.
It does not give me a lot of hope, Jess.
I know some people can do it and I'm always amazed by them, but it's not me.
I mean, it might be the universe telling me to slow down and like maybe just do one task at a time, one hobby at a time, instead of like playing Animal Crossing on my Switch and also watching something on TV and also listening to music. Like, like just one thing at a time, slow things down. This is the universe telling me to do that. Guess what, universe? I'm not listening.
She's going for it.
I'm going for all of it, man. Life is short. Who needs eyeballs anyway?
Yep.
I bought a painting set, which I'm very excited to fuck up in some way. It's just like a bunch of acrylic paint, and now I'm just like looking around because it only came with 2 of the little like canvas thingies. So like I'll Google something nice to paint on that and like not freehand it and like try to do something nice. But now I'm just looking around my apartment like, what can I paint? What is weird and random and lying around and I can paint it. And like I have a little wooden like container thing that I can paint. And I have like, I don't know, I might just take some sandpaper to an old side table and fuck that up somehow. I don't know. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm going to turn into that girl who's got the apartment full of weird painted things. And I'm fine with it.
Yes.
Any other thoughts? Knitting pack.
We're definitely gonna need a Granny Called episode, but yeah, I'm having fun with it.
It's in the books. We're definitely doing one.
Yes.
All right. If you are looking for us on the internet, you can find us at PlumBobCast on Instagram and Twitter. We are PlumBob Podcast on Reddit. We are Under the PlumBob Podcast on Facebook and Tumblr. Just use your fancy little fingers to type us into the search bar. And you can always find us at undertheplumbbob.com. We have a contact form on there, or you can email us directly at undertheplumbobpodcast@gmail.com. Just smush a bunch of combinations of Under the Plumbob and Podcast. You'll find us.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. We're also on Twitch and YouTube. Our schedule for streaming is kind of in flux at the moment, but follow us on social media, all those things I just said, to find out our most up-to-date schedule. Big thanks, as always, to the wonderful Sims fan sites that are providing this information. We got some resources today from Sims Community, Sims VIP, the Sims Wiki, Simmers Digest, the official EA site. A special shout out to Carl. Carl, get better.
Get well soon. We love you.
Carl, be better. Feel better. You have to get better. We love you so much.
We're sending all the good vibes your way.
Oh, love him. Carl has a Patreon that you can support. He's also got a PayPal that you can just straight up donate to. His website is Carl's, with an S, carls-sims-4-guide.com. Check him out. He's our hero. We love him. We hope he feels better. And finally, thank you for listening. We're really glad to have you here with us. All right, so let's review the main directives. Join a granny cult. Save your game.
Yes.
Wash your hands. Wear a mask.
Stay 6 feet away from other people.
And just like be nice to people. I think that's another good one. Be nice to people, especially if they're working in the service industry. They don't want to be there. They're just doing the best they can.
Making their paycheck.
Having to deal with your rude ass, Karen. Like, chill. Anyway, I think it's time to go back to the real world. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Badish. Dag dag.